Hi guys, hope you're doing well. Today we will be going over abstract reasoning, specifically how to use mnemonics, for abstract reasoning. So before I begin, I just like to say right now I'm sweating because it's like 25 degrees here, and obviously 25 degrees in the UK is like 60. And then on top of that, this video will be more of an introduction into abstract reasoning rather than me going through questions. In future videos, I will show you how I use my mnemonics and I will show you my thought processes. Okay, so let's begin. It works. Okay, so point number one, there is no secret to doing well in the abstract reasoning subject. Or subset. Now, the reason why I say that is because sometimes you might come across people that say, oh, if you invest into this course, we'll tell you the secret. There is no secret. And if there is anything that is a secret, it's the mnemonics, which I've already told you all of them. And really, there's one that hasn't really been discussed, which I've made, which I'm about to share with you. So, looking at this is a screenshot from last year. Wow, you can tell I haven't been studying then. Well, to be honest, anyway, sorry, I'm distracting. Basically, these are the different mnemonics that you can use for your abstract reasoning subset. Each one you might want to play around with and see which one works best. Now, the main patterns that you'll be tested on, like said in the previous video, shape, position, number, color, size, and angles. However, this isn't just it. I feel like this is not really considering everything. However, if we move on, this mnemonic right here, SpermRoseAnd, which I made up, this actually helped me a lot in terms of finding out the different patterns for abstract reasoning, and I will show you an example of me using this and its success rate in comparison to the others, which I feel like are very oversimplified. Now, this takes me around 45 seconds to write down in the exam, so I suggest you can do the same, and if you wanted to, you could add your own stuff to it or readjust it. Now, you're probably wondering, where did I get this from? I got this from the UCAT abstract reasoning website. The UCAT website, where it has question tutorials. You can have a look as well. I'll put the link in the description below. And these ones right here are literally the main patterns they'll test you on. So basically, I made a mnemonic regarding this. And obviously, number one thing, it's not a bad thing that if you didn't come across this, because number one, this is like hidden within the site and you have to actually click so many different hyperlinks to actually get to this, but it's completely fine. So this mnemonic right here is sperm, rose, and R. Sperm stands for symmetry, position, enclosure, rotation, and mirror image. Rose stands for ratio, opposites, shape, equivalence, and adjacent. R stands for adjacent, reflection, shading, and equidistant. And what I will do in a future video is, sorry, I said that in such a weird way. But anyways, what I'll do in a future video is I will go through each pattern and show you examples of each pattern and what to expect for each style of pattern. Now, before I continue, I'd just like to say that adjust and make your own mnemonic, just like I've done. The reason why I say that is because you'll find that, number one, when you make something yourself, you've already remembered it, it's personal to you, and you probably feel a lot more comfortable using it. Number two, the whole point of having a mnemonic is as a reminder of all the different patterns, because, for our abstract reasoning, there are so many different patterns, and there might be one that you might have forgotten about, and that could have been the answer. So I feel like you want a list of patterns which are personal to you, and you create a mnemonic from that. Because if you look at this list right here, I haven't added number anywhere. Why? Because number is one that I will remember anyway. That's the first thing I always look at. The number of sides, the number of shapes, the number of different colors. Number is such a common pattern that it just comes naturally. The first thing I'm looking at is number. Okay, number. So I haven't really added that. Same goes for, enclosures or intersections. The reason why I say that is because it'll be pretty obvious where I could see, an enclosure or an intersection. So make it personal to you so that you feel comfortable actually using this and you are kind of complimenting yourself. So if you haven't, or if you find a pattern which is hard, then write it down. Or if there's a pattern you'll forget, then write it down. So you must have frequent practice with abstract reasoning. And there's a reason for that, because the more you practice, the more you become familiar with the patterns, and that way you can utilize the mnemonic a lot less, but use it in an efficient way. The last thing you want to do, and something I never recommend, is using the mnemonic for every subset. Not something you would want to do. When I practiced last year, I only used it 3 or 4 times. That's it. Use it for every question. You're digging yourself a hole, really. So, and it just comes to show that you haven't done enough practice. If you are using the mnemonic for each and every question, that is a big indicator that you are lacking some practice. So, before I'd like to move on with all of this, I just like to say, number one, download my free Word document. The link is in the description below. So this Word document is basically a table full of one column is patterns, one column is explanation, and what you'll find is that I've organized this in terms of patterns. So for symmetry, I've given you a table, position table, enclosure, I've given you a table to fill out, and I want you to go and practice, and every time you get a pattern wrong, what I want you to do is I want you to fill out this table. So use Medify. Use Medify to do this. You can do a maximum of 150 questions at a time. It's really, really good. So you can do this at 10 to 50 at a time. That's what I recommend. And every time you get a pattern wrong, you write down the pattern underneath whatever category of that pattern that was in the table, and then obviously write the explanation next to it. So every time you do this, you want to review and add any incorrect patterns to the list, and which are obviously following the category that certain pattern is in. Let's say, for example, it was 2 white shapes and 1 black shape. Then you know to put that into color, and you can also put that into number as well. And it doesn't matter if you repeat patterns that you get wrong. The more you write down, the better it is. Because number one, if you think about it, you're revising it once after reviewing the answers, and then you're revising it twice after typing it, and then you're revising it for the 3rd time when you review the list again. So really, you're consolidating your knowledge regarding abstract reasoning. And I can say confidently that I still remember a lot of those patterns because of this. And then once again, you repeat the whole process. So it's a nice cycle that you can follow. And I really recommend you doing this because number one, you won't regret it. Number two, it will simply benefit you. And number three, you can say this is a secret to doing well in abstract reasoning. Now, I would provide you with a list of patterns for each of these. However, that's not going to help you. Definitely not. The reason being is because there'll be certain patterns which you'll find easy and certain patterns which you will find hard, and each list is personal. It should be personal to the individual. So what I might do is make another video regarding indicators and common things or triggers to think about every time you see a certain style of pattern. So I might make a video on that. So if you want me to, comment down in the description, not in the description, comment down below, and I shall do that depending on how many of you actually want me to do that. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So thank you guys for watching this very, very short video, this introduction on abstract reasoning. Please feel free to comment, give it a like, definitely, because I'm sweating right now. And please feel free to subscribe so you are aware of any other videos I release regarding the UCAT. So I hope you're doing well and keep smiling.